So I want to walk you through how you can start and scale a lead generation agency in four very, very simple steps. And not only start it, but scale it and get your first client very, very quickly. This is a proven method to pick the right niche, test your offer, get leads quickly, and book in with those leads as fast as possible and start getting deals signed as a complete beginner or someone with experience. It doesn't really matter. So the first stage is niche. So straight off the bat, if you don't really have any experience with B2B lead gen, or you're unsure as to what niche that you should pick, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because the niche you choose initially, or the niche is in this scenario, you're not married to it straight off the bat. You don't have to stay with this for the next 3 years. You're not chained to it for the rest of your life. Nothing like that. Like it says here, there's over 3 million B2B companies in the US alone, and the large majority of them struggle to acquire clients consistently. So what I would recommend doing is creating a list of 3 different B2B niches which fit within this criteria. So they have a big enough target market for you to reach out to. So 15,000 plus of these companies is a good starting point. They struggle with lead generation, they have money, and you have some degree of interest in that specific niche, because it's really going to affect how much work you do, and in turn the results you're going to be able to, the results you're going to get, because it's going to affect the work you put in, etc., your enjoyment. And I'll say this is extremely important, probably more important than actually having a problem that you can solve, because if you're enjoying it, nothing else really matters. So the first and the last parts of these criteria, so enough companies in that niche and you having some degree of interest in that niche, are pretty self-explanatory. But struggling with lead generation and whether they have money, so whether they have a tangible problem that you can solve with a lead gen agency, and whether they have money, again, these are things that you're going to need to do your own research on. So what I've done here is I've collected a list of niches within the B2B sector that I know personally, people who are having success within these industries, or I know that they do have that problem and they do have budget to actually put towards something like lead generation, and they're not completely broke. So it includes B2B SaaS, financial services, so that includes a whole array of different things. So does B2B SaaS. Marketing and advertising agencies, it's where I made my money with my lead gen agency. Again, that covers loads of different types of agencies. Real estate and property management, legal services, business coaching and consulting, education technology and education training services, IT services, again, loads of different sub niches within that, telecommunications, and like it says here, there's tons and tons of B2B niches. This is by no means a definitive list, but this is a good starting point to see where the opportunity is, because these niches are vetted and there are a lot of sub niches within them. So I wouldn't worry too much about the specific sub niches when you're starting off. So just ensure that they do have a problem and they do have a specific TAM of 15K and above, so you actually have enough leads to reach out to. Select 3 niches within this degree, and we want to gain insights quickly into those niches in terms of what their problems are, what their goals are, everything like that. We want to seek to understand them first. So we want to shortlist 3 niches. And the best way to gain knowledge into these niches and gain insights into what's going to be the best one to pick is to actually speak to that niche properly. Because yeah, you can look online, yeah, you can look at ChatGPT, Google, things like that, but you're always going to be getting static, slightly outdated insights. To get true live insights and market feedback, you want to actually be speaking to the people that you're going to help. Not only is that going to give you sales experience and confidence going into calls, you're actually going to know for certain what their pain points are, because you've actually spoken to them. So the best way to do this, and the way that we did it ourselves, was in the form of an interview campaign. So essentially what this is, it's instead of reaching out to them straight away and saying, we can do X for you in this time frame, let's get on a call and I'll pitch you my services, you're essentially reaching out to them with an offer saying, I'm going to write this white paper, I'm going to collect these insights in terms of other people in your industry. In return for 30 minutes of your time, I'll send you that white paper and we can discuss other things that I've found from speaking to people in your niche. And all I need is just 30 minutes of your time to identify this, this, and this. Does that sound good? So this was an example of a script that we personally sent to marketing agencies. And this went something like this. So my business partner would send it. He said, you can read it here. My business partner, Max, found your company on LinkedIn, mentioned I should reach out. We've been interviewing a few CEOs, COOs, and leading business leaders from the advertising and marketing agency, etc., etc., etc. basically a headline for the white paper that we're going to create. And we split tested a lot of different headlines here. Mentioned who we've already spoken to. Again, if you haven't spoken to anyone, you can always just talk about what they're going to get, value that they're going to get from the meeting, etc. In terms of insights that you've found out on your own and stuff like this. And I would say emphasize the white paper more, especially if you don't know insights about that target market yet. Yeah, so this is how the email went. It was extremely effective for us. This was some analytics from it. So we reached out to around 4,000 people, generated around 100 opportunities. And essentially what it is, like I said, reaching out to them, saying you're creating a white paper in their niche, and it's going to give them insights once you've completed it into what their competitors are doing, and you're going to send it over to them in exchange for their time. And what you're doing is basically conducting a minimum of 5 of these interviews, where on the interviews, you're getting insights in terms of what their pain points are, how they operate, what their goals are. And you can do this 5 times across the same niche in 3 different niches, and you're going to gain a way better understanding than all the people that claim to do this crazy market research with ChatGPT and all these different things. Yes, that can move the needle, but nothing beats actually speaking to these people face to face. So yeah, after conducting 15 of these interviews, 5 across 3 different niches, should become pretty clear based on obviously insights in terms of what their problems are, whether or not they're looking for a solution like that and they have the budget ready to allocate in terms of what you want to charge. Should be pretty clear in terms of what niche you want to go to, especially when you speak to these people, you understand how they work and you understand the interest that you're going to potentially have in building out a solution for them, because you need to actually make sure you have some degree of interest in it. Otherwise, it's just not worth your time, because yeah, this is what you're going to be doing for a while. You're going to be building out a solution for these people if you choose to go ahead with it. So make sure you actually have some degree of interest in. Yes, you can change it. Yes, you can move things around, but make sure you're making that good decision right off the bat, so it saves you time later down the line. So that is essentially the first point. So that's the niche. The second point is the offer. So after picking a niche with the outline method that I just went over in terms of the niche section, you're going to have all the insights in terms of what your target market's pain points are, what their goals are, what their desires are, everything they struggle with. And you're going to be able to put an offer together which actually captures attention and shows to the industry that you actually do know what you're talking about. You speak their language and you have knowledge and understanding of their pain points and where they want to go. So I put in here as an example, I see a lot of B2B lead gen agencies still running the classic outdated, I help B2B companies get 15 to 20 qualified appointments on a pay on results basis. And I can't think of anything more outdated and commoditized than this. If I was a B2B business owner and I saw this, I would have, which I am, I'd have zero confidence in anyone delivering this. It just looks the exact same as everyone else. Doesn't stand out at all, doesn't show that they have any understanding in terms of what I want. They're not personalizing it at all. It's just terrible. So it's very vague and commoditized. With the insights that you've received from actually doing the research, from knowing a specific industry that you're going to target now, you can craft something that's more unique and actually tailored to the prospect. So for example, let's assume you pick the cybersecurity niche. I made this very quickly. Let's just say you reached out to them with the offer. We help cybersecurity companies demonstrate a clear ROI and overcome client skepticism through targeted messaging. So instead of saying we help B2B companies get 15 to 20 qualified appointments, you're making it tailored to one specific niche, and you're talking with regards to industry-specific pain points that cybersecurity companies face. So it goes beyond just a generic message. Not everything with an offer needs a crazy guarantee or a performance-based element to it. You don't need this Hormozy style offer where you're going to do this in this time frame, you're throwing out all these crazy numbers, all this crazy guarantee, or we work for free. Everything like that. Really just need to make it relevant and targeted to that prospect and demonstrate to them that you have awareness of their problems and give them an idea and give them confidence that you have the chance to solve that problem for them. That's all it is. You're not selling them, you're simply just registering attention and getting interest from the prospect. So as long as it's relevant to them, you'll see results. Obviously, there's other things that go into it, but make sure it's relevant. The next thing is just scraping leads. So you need good quality data, it's essential. So the 80-20 principle, the 80% of cold outreach and everything like that is the leads. So the leads is the input to the system. If you have a bad input to the system, you're going to get shitty outputs. Bad inputs, shitty outputs. It's like your body. If you eat shit food all day, you're not going to function the best way possible. It's the exact same with the cold email system. If you put shitty data into it, you're not going to be able to operate this system at its highest level. So luckily there's software that is out there that has good quality data. In terms of must-haves, in my opinion, you're pretty much covering every base with Apollo and Sales Navigator. If your niche is a little bit more intricate, so you need more intricate data, things like that, there's other options that I've listed here. So LeadRox, you've got Use Artemis, Clutch, Crunchbase, G2, Store Leads for ecom, things like that. Main thing is here, don't overthink it with the lead source. Just as long as you're getting a good quality set of data and you're not getting low quality shit data by paying some Indian VA $3 for 10,000 contacts, you get what you pay for. So make sure that you're actually putting good inputs into the system and you're using the correct filters. So you're reaching out to people not only in that industry, but with similar characteristics in terms of how their companies are structured. So don't reach out to companies at 10,000 employees in the same lead lists as companies with 15 employees, because the messaging would have to be different. The pain points would probably be different. And also make sure you're reaching out to actual decision makers. So getting meetings. So now it comes down to the juicy part. You've got your offer, you've got your niche, you've got leads to put into the system. Now it comes to just getting meetings, getting people on the phone. So you've got proven knowledge of your target market and an offer to back this up that isn't commoditized and that actually stands out. Now you just want to structure your messaging and your offer in a way that captures interest. And we've done this from your initial offer, but we can add this to the cold email structure to generate even more attention and interest from the prospect. So it's really not rocket science. Ever since I've done cold email, it's been around 2.5 years now, I've used this formula. So it's just been getting noticed. So the main thing is registering that initial interest. You're going to see your email in the inbox. They're going to see the subject line. They're going to see the first line of your email in the preview section. So you need to make sure that that's compelling. And then you've got the intent. So that's the main body and your value proposition, aka your offer, and showcasing the value with a clear call to action and next steps. So that's it. That's really the foundation of an email. That's an extremely simplified way of saying what the structure should be. But again, you don't need to overcomplicate it. So things to take into account with this structure, you've got your subject line. So you need to make this short and sweet and personalized. I'm not talking about personalized in the fact that you need to reference some obscure LinkedIn post they made about their dog 12 years ago. I'm talking about just add some degree of personalization so they know it's for them. So whether that's a name, whether that's their company name, specific subject lines with personalization like this, usually you receive a 50% and above open rate. And I didn't just pull that out of thin air. I believe that's a stat from SmartLead. So yeah, invoke curiosity. That's all you're trying to do. The sole purpose of the subject line is to just get the email opened. If it doesn't do that, then there's no point and you've done it wrong. So personalization is the next thing to take into account. And again, I'm not talking about AI personalization, referencing some weird fact about a Facebook post they made about their mum. I'm talking about making sure it's relevant to that prospect. And when they see it, it needs to be obvious to them that it's not just a one-size-fits-all solution, which I can get you 10 to 15 qualified appointments for your B2B company. It's definitely a one-size-fits-all solution, and they know that it's definitely not for them, and it can apply to absolutely anyone. So why would they respond to you when you're putting that little effort into it? So avoid generic fluff and make sure it's relevant to that prospect. Keep it concise. People are busy, especially B2B business owners. They don't have time to read a whole Harry Potter book. You want to write scripts initially. So when you're script writing, you want to type out loads of words. You want to just get everything out onto the page and then cut down everything that doesn't contribute to the message and that doesn't clearly communicate it in the most concise and best way possible for you. It really is a skill, knowing how to get a message across concisely and clearly without throwing in all these ambiguous and pointless words that really just don't contribute to anything, because not only does it make you less intelligent, but also waste time for the prospect. And yeah, you just need to make it clear and straightforward for them. value-based call to actions. So call to actions, I've tested thousands of call to actions. The ones that I've seen to perform the best have been call to actions that aren't just let's hop on a call, let's do this, let's do that. There are a time and a place for those call to actions when you have social proof, when you have an exact knowledge of your target market dialed in and you can reel their pain points off like it's your birthday or something like that. Other than if you don't have that, which you probably don't have at the moment, you don't have that crystal clear understanding of your target market, lead with value first. So if you've just written that white paper, if you've just gained the understanding of your niche and you've conducted those 5 interview calls, you can take those insights from those interview calls and you can build out a white paper which covers your findings from that, and you can use it to provide value. So an example of a CTA here could just be, I've written a white paper on how cybersecurity companies are demonstrating a clear return on investment for their services. Do you mind if I send it over? So they're going to read through that. They're going to say yes, because it's very easy for them to say yes to. They're not agreeing to give you their time yet. All they're doing is agreeing for you to send over a document, which is going to give them value, definitely. So they're going to read through that and they're going to feel obliged to give something back to you because you've given something to them. It's the law of reciprocity. So use that to your advantage. Use soft call to actions, which actually provide value for them up front. There's tons and tons of different examples for that. You can provide like a free audit. You can do different things like that. You can send them other case studies. You can send them other sales assets, videos, things like that that are going to give them value. But yeah, until you have a fundamental understanding of your niche and all these things there, I would keep the call to action soft and value based. So the final note in terms of campaigns here is you want to send with sufficient volume. You're not going to get anything if you're sending 30 emails a day. You definitely want to make sure you're sending enough volume. Cold email to some degree is a numbers game. Yes, it's not always a numbers game if you don't do any of these foundations in terms of copywriting and positioning properly. You can't scale a crappy campaign. But as long as you have those KPIs there, when you have sufficient volume, you can really scale up campaigns and start getting those great results. And you need to track and test religiously as well. The people that get the best results with cold email test 10 times more than anyone else. It's like ads. It's the same principle applies to ads and any marketing. The best marketers test way more than anyone else. So you need to make sure you're actually testing different copy and tracking your metrics above all, because if you're not tracking your metrics, you can't test properly and you don't know what's working. So that goes beyond instantly metrics as well, because there's certain things that instantly don't track, but I can do another video on that if that sounds interesting to you guys. But anyway, that's everything. If you want more information about what we do, it's in the description. It's 2-to-1 mentorship, not a course, not a program, not any of that bullshit. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. You can just send me a message on Instagram, or you can reach out to my business partner, either one, check out his channel. And yeah, that's everything. Hopefully you found that valuable, and I'll see you on the next one.